The human mind is very powerful. It can create and inspire, or it can discourage and destroy. It's up to you to, make use of the human mind. And to talk about human mind, we have one exceptional speaker amongst us today. Last 2 years of pandemic had taken a toll on all our lives. It made us realize no matter how hard we work, if our health is not in a good condition, we just don't exist. By health, I meant both physical and mental health. Achieving it is not a destination, but a process that we need to pursue throughout our lives. Our first speaker of the day is an expert in this field who not only preaches, but lives that way too. Dr. Hitendra Mahajan, MD Consultant Anaesthesiologist, Ashoka Medicover Hospital, Nashik. Sir is the past president of ISC Maharashtra chapter. He also received an appreciation award from our Prime Minister, Honorable Shri Narendra Modi ji, for Race Across America and social work for tribal. He's a recipient of the Appreciation Award at ISACON 2014 Madhurya, Proficiency Award from Ludhiana. He is also a recipient of the Chhatrapati Award, the highest sport award given by the government of Maharashtra. Sir climbed the Mount Everest under Sea to Sky mission with cycling from Mumbai to Kathmandu, a mission dedicated for CPR awareness. He has also completed the Golden Quadrilateral Challenge, 6,000 kilometers of cycling in 10 days, which took him 19 hours on the Golden Quadrilateral Highway, India. His hobbies include endurance sports athletes, mountaineering, marathon running, flying, rowing, and cycling. Sir has published 9 national and 3 international pieces at the World Congress Hong Kong 2016. He also received the Best Paper Award at ISACON 1998 Delhi. And he's also presented papers at many state and national level conferences. It is an absolute honor to have you with us today, sir. I request you to kindly come on to the stage. And I also request Mrs. Anandi, the headmistress of Sri Baldev Das Kikane Vidya Mandir Higher Secondary School, to kindly present our first speaker with a bouquet to welcome him. Thank you, ma'am. Sir, the stage is all yours.
Good morning, all the dignitaries and my dear students. I'm thankful to Mr. Tushar Kikani and Kikani Institute for giving me an opportunity to go back to the school. I think everyone who is sitting here, all my elder dignitaries, they will agree that going back to the school is always something everyone wishes for. And the moment I received a call, I just grabbed this opportunity. I also take this opportunity to thank my mentor, my friend, my colleague, and who has also happened to be a past student of this prestigious school, Dr. Bala Venkat sir, for giving me this opportunity. Today, I'm going to talk about fitness, importance of fitness, which is not only restricted to physical but mental as well. Let me tell you, dear friends, whatever you had heard nice words, for that I'm thankful to Shruti for those nice words. As also same like all of you who are sitting here. Whatever achievements I could achieve in my life, though they appear big, but believe me, everyone who is sitting here is capable of doing that if you visualize and put your efforts into it. And that is the whole purpose of my today's 1 hour talk with you. This is my college, BJ Medical College, Pune. I studied throughout my schooling. I was in a taluka place, and it was always my dream to pursue my education in a good institute, and my vision was restricted to Pune or Bombay that time. I was very happy that I could crack good marks in 12th standard and could enter this prestigious medical college. But you know what caught my attention when I entered first day in this college? That was, I saw a board, BJ Medical College Mountaineering Club. Mountains has always fascinated me right from childhood. And when I saw this board, I was so elated, I was so happy. And while pursuing my medical degree, at the same time, Pune being a beautiful city situated and surrounded by mountains, Sahyadri mountains, I got an opportunity to, explore those mountains. I got so much fascinated, I started learning various facets of life while wandering or while trekking in those mountains. And during that time, I did my basic mountaineering course from WMHI Manali and advanced mountaineering course from Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, Uttarkashi. In 1998, when I went back to my town, Nashik, where I started my professional career, I got involved and engrossed so much into my profession that I forgot that once upon a time, till the college, from the school time, I was into a sports and I was involving myself in one or the other physical activities. After 2-3 years of involving myself into a professional life, whatever happens to everyone, it happened to me. Once being an anesthesiologist, I had to deal with an emergency situation. And once I was called in a hospital on an emergency basis, it was on the 4th floor of the building. I just rushed there. I avoided lift. I ran to the 4th floor. And when I reached near the patient, I myself was panting. That time I realized, no, if I am not fit enough, how I am going to help a patient? And that time again I realized that I have to do something about my fitness. I just cannot carry on like this, getting involved fully into the profession. And then I started fitness again. There are a lot of restrictions from the professional point of view. Being an anesthesiologist, my timings are not fixed. But then the best thing which I could do was to start running. I started running to keep myself fit. Running, why? Because I could adjust it with my profession. I could run whenever I get a free time, not dependent on any gym or something like that. And then for doing something consistently, I am also having the same type of inertia as you all are having. We do in enthusiasm, we start some activity, but after a few days we leave it. And if at all we have to overcome that, I realized that there has to be some target. And I kept a target of running half marathon for myself. Believe me, when I was young in the college time, I used to volunteer as a doctor in the marathon, Pune International Marathon. And that time I used to think how these people can run 21 kilometers, 42 kilometers. That time I was more young, energetic, but when I am into professional career, I thought that let me keep this target. And in 2007, I could run first half marathon and I was so happy and elated that. But that became my habit. Then I kept myself a target of full marathon. After that, of course, every one of us, if you ask any kid what he wants to become, and first answer 90% kids will say pilot. Even same was with me. There was somewhere in my mind that I should fly on my own. And fortunate to have a flying club in my town, so I joined that. I learned flying in 2009. Then being situated at the bank of Holly River, Godavari, I could get an opportunity to learn rowing and kayaking. I learned that. I participated in various competitions, but then later on, something was there right from the childhood. The first machine to which we get introduced, and that is not but a cycle. That time somehow I used to get opportunity to ride a bicycle of my father, who was using it for 30 years to go to the office. And then I thought, let me start cycling. In 2012 I started cycling. You know what is most important thing in this, as I just now mentioned, to keep yourself consistently going ahead? Visualizing a dream. Whatever you want to achieve, you should first visualize it, because if you can dream it, you can do it. It gives you a target to keep yourself motivated, to keep yourself do the same thing again and again, again and again. But I believe in keeping the target toughest. Why toughest? It may happen that sometime if you tell them that yes, I wish to go to this place, or I wish to achieve, half of your friends may laugh at you, or half of your family may say that, oh, you just cannot do it. But then that is the exact opposite is my thinking. I always feel that you should keep yourself with a very high target, because if you aim for a sky, at least you will be able to reach treetop. But if you aim for a treetop, you will not even able to jump on a branch. And that is what I always believe. And that's why when I started cycling, I searched what is the toughest thing on the earth in a cycling, and I realized that there is something called as Race Across America, which is very tough, toughest endurance race running for last 35 years, and I set that target for myself. Why it is toughest? Because you need to cross entire America from west coast to east coast, 4,860 kilometers, crossing so many states and continents, so many states and counties and all. At the same time, the road is not smooth, it is up and down. You land up climbing 170,000 feet vertical, which is equivalent to 5 times climbing Mount Everest. I set that target myself. Myself and my brother, we live in our parents' house as a joint family, and maybe he's also a dentist, he's a doctor, and maybe that is the reason why we could pursue our hobbies together. And we thought that let us target this together, and we entered ourselves in that race as a team of 2, myself, my brother. But being a doctor, I always believe that, okay, you are doing something for yourself, you achieve it, but what about the society in which you are living? It becomes your responsibility to take your society along with you. There should be something you should be able to give back to the society from your activity, and then only you get a real meaning to the success, if at all you become successful in your target. And same thing I did while entering ourselves in that race. We decided to do something back to the society, and of course, being a doctor, medical thing is easy for us to give back to the society. And my wife is being an ophthalmologist, we decided that for every 100 kilometers we will be cycling in the event. Back home, my wife and our foundation will be doing 5 cataract surgeries and 1 corneal transplant free of cost. And that's why we entered ourselves with the Team India vision for tribal. The target was very big. I was training, my brother was training for it. Half of the people were laughing at us, and everyone used to ask what you are going to achieve out of it, or what will happen. You will not be able to do it. It is about only professional cyclists can do it. But we just ignored those thoughts. We just believed in ourselves, and we keep trying, and we reached that. Till that time, there were 5 cyclists from India who had tried and attempted, could not complete it successfully. But with our dedication, I'm very happy to tell you that we were the first, not only Indian but Asians, to participate, to finish that race in a given time, and not only finish, but we won that race in a team of 2 category. What happened after that? Was that a real achievement for us? To be very precise to you, no. What real achievement came after that is you see a lot of growth in a cycling and fitness, the view of people looking at it. When we started, we used to procure cycle from USA. Now, even a 10 lakh rupees cycle worth you will get right here in Coimbatore. Now you will see everywhere people are cycling, running and all these things. So we could break that ice. We could break that, thought process that, cycling in a day 300 kilometers, 600 kilometers is not possible. No, it is possible. And if people like me who are into a profession can do it, we could pass on that message that yes, anybody, if you decide, you can do it. Of course, our social work is recognized by Modi ji also. In the Mann Ki Baat, we were very surprised to, listen to Modi ji mentioning us. I wanted to show you this thing here for insisting two things here. Later on, he invited us, he appreciated. But let me tell you, all the students who are sitting here, sports and other activities, they definitely matter. They take you to the world of recognition and world of famous. But why Modi ji invited us and appreciated us, that was because along with that, we were doctors also. We were somewhere, we had completed our education also, which as a student, you should keep on doing, you should not ignore that. And second thing is social work, which we could associate along with that. That was very important and that was recognized. So giving back to the society whenever you get an opportunity always comes back to you. Later on in 2016, we wanted to, start something similar in India itself. So we thought of why not to propagate ourselves, our own country, Golden Quadrilateral Road. So myself, my brother, we attempted this Golden Quadrilateral. We could finish it in 10 days, 18 hours. And again, the theme was follow the rules and India will rule. Then I did toughest one-day mountain race in the Bhutan. But that dream of climbing Mount Everest, which I had visualized during college days, it was there in my mind. In 2018, I discussed it with my wife. I told, look, I cannot live without at least attempting once. I know it is risky, I know it is dangerous, but somewhere that mountain air is hidden in my mind and I just want to attempt. I could convince her, I could convince my mother, I could convince everyone, and we could plan for it and decided that in this picture, Dr. D.T. Kulkarni from my college, he was the first civilian to plan and execute the expedition to Mount Everest. Unfortunately, he died when I was in a college, and I thought that if I want to pay Shraddhanjali to him, the best thing will be I myself attempting Mount Everest. Accordingly, I planned it in 2019. I discussed it with my brother, and being a cyclist, we wanted to do it unique. Many people, they plan and they go to the top of Mount Everest, but being a doctor, being a cyclist, being a social worker, we wanted to do it in something different way, and that's why we thought of attempting it on a human power right from a sea level, because we count height of any mountain from the sea level, and that's why we combined cycling and mountaineering. We started on a bicycle from Mumbai, reached Kathmandu till on a bicycle, and from there went to Lukla, and from there we started our trekking towards base camp and planned to go on the top of Mount Everest. Again, involving society was very important. I am myself anesthesiologist. I deal with the life, and I'm very unhappy to tell you that our own beloved past President of India, Abdul Kalam sir, when he was delivering talk, you must have seen on a TV, he collapsed, he developed heart attack, and no one there thought of giving CPR. From that moment, it was pinching my heart. The quality of life we all living is excellent, but at the same time, is it that our life doesn't matter? No, every life matters. And believe me, friends, in a cardiac arrest, if you provide this simple skill of giving CPR, the chances of surviving that person or chances of restarting his heart raised by 50%. We have so much manpower. If someone collapses on the road, so many people gathers, but unfortunately, no one gets that reflex of helping in a proper way. And my aim in my life, my mission is to create maximum awareness, and I keep on conducting awareness activity. And that's how we gave birth to this mission, Sea to Sky, with the aim of taking our tricolor flag on the top of Mount Everest, which you can see in this picture. Dream is not what you see in sleep, is the thing which doesn't let you sleep. And same thing happens whenever we plan something, whenever we set a target for ourselves. It is like day and night we start working for it. That doesn't let us sleep. whenever we get it. I know it's not that easy to balance, but then my time being an anesthesiologist, what was not fixed, sometimes I used to fix that, yes, tomorrow morning I'll train myself, but then there is to be a demand from hospital that I should be there. So I used to shift my training schedule to the afternoon. Sometimes I had trained myself in the night also, but never sacrifice or never let my professional life suffered out of it. Dr. Bishmaraj Bam, he is ex-IG of Maharashtra. He is the one who is a sports psychologist, first sports psychologist of India. You name any sports person, you know all the medals won by Anjali Bhagwat, you know Git Sethi, you know Pankaj Advani, you know Virat Kohli and Sachin Tendulkar, all of them are his students. He has made the drastic change. And I was fortunate that he was in Nashik. He taught us how to develop your mental skill. We are in India where our culture is of yoga, and we can learn so many things from him. Before going to race across America, I shared a thought with him. I told him, sir, look, I don't like rain. When it rains, it depresses me. And during our race across America, while crossing that entire continent, it is going to be happen that I'll have to face the rain. You know what he told me that moment? He said, forget whether you love rain or you hate rain. Whenever it is going to rain in the race, you just have to think one thought that it is a special way of blessing sent by a God. Look at the way of, it's just a change of thought process. He instilled that change in my mind. And same thing happened during the race when we were crossing Appalachian Mountains. It started raining heavily. And then I just thanked God that sending that rain and in the form of blessing, and I could extract energy from that, and I could paddle more vigorously and finish the race in a given time. So this is what is about mental training. It is just changing your aspect. You may feel that, oh, this exam is tough or I'll not be able to do. No, just change, visualize, go through that exam again and again. It will help you a lot. Same thing happens with me. Of course, during this mission, there were a lot of difficulties, but we started training. It was about climbing. So we used to go in the morning before going to the hospital, tying the 4 kg weight to our ankles. Myself, my brother, we used to go and climb the hill. In the evening, core training is equally important. So after finishing the hospital, I used to hit back to the gym for core training. And cycling was a part of this mission. So every weekdays, we used to go for cycle training. And ultimately, with the blessings of everyone, on 30th of March, we left Nashik towards Mumbai as we were planned to start from sea level. In this lower picture, you will see 3 ladies. Most of you think that Mahajan brothers, he has achieved so much and he is so strong, and but let me tell you, more than us, these 3 ladies in this picture, they are more stronger. Why? Imagine a mother sending both her sons every time for such a mission. Imagine what courage she must be having. My wife, Anjana, Dr. Anjana, Mahendra's wife, we live in the same roof along with my parents in their house. And this is from where we extract this energy. This is from where we get that energy to, take such targets and achieve them. Of course, the importance of friends in your life is very important. If you ask me what are my biggest assets in the life, without a hesitation and giving a second thought, I will mention that it is my friends. Right from college days, right from school days, in my professional life, all my friends are assets. And whenever I had shared with them that, look, I'm targeting this mission, they are the first one to say, yes, go ahead, we are there with you. And those 3 words matters a lot to raise your confidence. So many of people, they came to Mumbai, to give me a well wishes send off from where we started this mission. Next 5 days, we were on a bicycle right from Mumbai to Kathmandu. Every place we used to wait on a highway to the toll plazas. We used to visit universities, schools for demonstration of the CPR. We could conduct, I'm very happy to tell you, what was going on a bicycle from Mumbai to Kathmandu was not that difficult or important for us, but we could interact with the people on a highway. We could teach them importance of CPR. We could teach so many toll plaza workers waiting there and teaching them just in case of accident how to help people before ambulance arrives. We got a good media coverage also. So many, I was very surprised to get a lot of response in Kathmandu. This is the college from Bhutal, small town. And they were so eager to learn all these things. We reached to the Kathmandu. Of course, now we started from 0 meters sea level, and we reached in the Kathmandu, which is 1400 meters. Ahead of that, the journey was little different. It was planned on a foot, and as we were gaining height, what matters is acclimatization to the mountain. This was the plan ahead of that. From Lukla, we wanted to go trekking till the Mount Everest base camp, which is almost at the height of 18,000 feet. And then our target was, as you can see in this picture, it was going up to top of the Mount Everest, which is 8,848 meters, almost the height at which our aeroplanes, they fly. So when you want to target that much, it is very important for you to acclimatize your body properly, and for that you have to at least expose your body to 7,000 plus meters twice before going to the top of Mount Everest or before attempting that. And for doing that, previously people used to go to camp 2 or camp 3 2-3 times, staying at a base camp and come back. But you can see in that picture the rough Khumbu glacier, it is very risky. So nowadays what we do is, before going to the base camp, we hit some other mountain which is not that risky, so that we get that opportunity of exposing ourselves and acclimatizing. And accordingly, we had targeted ourselves to go to Mount Island, climb it, and then go to the base camp. We left on day 8. From the day we started from Mumbai, we left for this is a Lukla, most risky land strip. I salute all the pilots who every time successfully land on this airstrip. And once in a mountain, it is altogether different. It is full of Buddhism culture, bridges, and beautiful. Himalaya is so beautiful, always fascinating. Every year I see to it that at least once I go for a few days in a mountain, which acts like a beautiful stress buster for me. This is a beautiful town of Namchi Bazaar. Look at the cleanliness in the mountain. No one has to tell that you are not supposed to throw the wrapper after eating the chocolate. Everyone will put it in that dustbin. Even you see, nothing is scattered around that dustbin. It is so clean. So mountain teaches you so many things. I have no hesitation in telling that whatever character I could develop myself, personality development, or whatever I could learn, because I kept wandering in the mountain, and mountain taught me so many things about decision making, about facing the odd situation in the life, which I knowingly or unknowingly I applied in my keep applying in my professional life. I keep applying it in my personal life, in a social life as well. First time from Namchi Bazaar, I could see that mountain which I was visualizing right from college days, that one day in my life I have to be on the top of that mountain, which is nothing but a Mount Everest. And I was so elated to see that first time from Namchi Bazaar. Till that time, believe me, I had only seen Mount Everest in the picture. I was fortunate that one of the main important monk, I could come across him and I could take his blessings before attempting that. This is Mount Abadablam. And then, as I told you, we were supposed to go to Mount Island before attempting Everest. And when we reached at the base camp of the Mount Island, it was heavily snowing. Half of the climber thought that there is no point in attempting, and they went back. I said no. Problems are never permanent. If you decide to stay there with the problem, you become a stationary with the problem and there is no solution. But if you decide to keep moving ahead, always remember, problems are stationary. If you decide to overcome that problem situation, there is always rising sun ahead of that, and you keep going. Don't stop yourself. You will always you'll see that you are out of the problem. So we decided that, okay, it's raining now, fine, no problem. We have to start in the midnight. So let's wait and see what happens in the midnight. If it's still snowing, we can attempt till the safety point. At least we could achieve some height, rather than if we turn back now, it is zero achievement for the sure. But if you at least try, there can be some height which we could gain. So we waited till midnight, and when we woke up in the midnight, and when we came out of our tent, we were surprised to see clear sky, snowfall had stopped. Now imagine if you would have turned back like other mountaineers, we would have lost this opportunity. We were so happy. So you help yourself. God is always there to help you. We stepped out of it. We started our climb towards Mount Island early in the morning, crossing all those zigzag paths, and we were happy that at 8 a.m. we could reach on the top of Mount Island. That was the first step towards success. From the top, you could see different mountains, same Mount Ahmadabalam, and I just wanted to show you, most of you must have heard about what exactly is a Himnadi, or we call it a glacier, the river of a hard black ice. It looks like this. It has got many crevices, cracks, and all these things. It takes years and years to, get formed, and this is the source of our potable water, drinking water, and we should preserve them. This is how it looks. It keeps on moving at the speed of 1 inch per meter, but this is something which is a real source of water for us. I'm very happy that at the Gorakshep place, I could see the statue of Shivaji Maharaj at that place before reaching a base camp. Giri Premi Mountaineering Institute from Pune, they had installed this. We could take the blessings from him before going to the base camp. And this is the base camp. We reached at the base camp on 17th of April. When we started on 30th of March from Mumbai. 17th of April, we reached base camp. After reaching base camp, our plan was to stay there for 1 month to get acclimatized, go up to Camp 3, come back, and prepare ourselves for the final attempt. So what we do there, staying there, early morning we go to the ice field, we try to sharpen our skills of crossing the crevices, climbing the mountain, ice wall, and all these things, and we wait for a good weather. This is how the base camp looks in the month of May. It turns into a small village with almost 300 to 400 mountaineers wishing to climb Mount Everest. Along with that, every climber has got one Sherpa and then helping team, and so it is almost 3,000 to 4,000 people living there in harmony on that glacier, Khumbu Glacier. That is the Khumbu Glacier, which is the riskiest part of climbing Mount Everest. After crossing that, you go up and then you come across little safer environment. On 23rd day, we decided to go towards Camp 3 for our first exposure. Whatever way you are trained yourself, whatever confidence you have, but when you keep that first fit while crossing the crevices, it sends the shiver down your spine. And then once you cross that first step, it gives you more and more confidence. This is Khumbu Glacier. It is very risky. You can see from this video why it is risky, because it is full of seracs which are of the height of 3-story building, and they are all unstable. Every day you have to take a new route to cross the Khumbu Glacier because it is unstable, it keeps on moving. There is always a risk of falling into a crevices, or there is always a risk of getting buried under one of the falling seracs. So after crossing that, we could, you can see the crevices. After crossing that, we could reach the base camp. Mountain is full of dangers. Yeah, I know. We all know. But where there is no danger? On the road, we are facing danger every day. So you have to take the calculated risk in your life if you want to achieve something. And I'm not saying that one should just jump into the risky situation. No, prepare yourself, because safety should be the always priority. There are principles of all the adventure sports, and if you follow those principles, the chances of accident reduces. It applies to everything in your life. There are set of principles. When we say that follow the rules and India will rule, means there are beautiful set of rules given by our constitution. And imagine every one of us following those rules when we live in our professional life, in our social life, in our personal life. If we follow those rules, I don't think anyone can stop India becoming a superpower. So that is about following the rules. That is about discipline, and that is about principles of following all the rules. At the base camp, when we were just settling down in the camp, we heard a loud thunder. We just ran out of the tent, and when we could say, fortunately, we were 500 meters away from that, but we could see that huge avalanche coming from Nupse. Avalanches and all are quite common in the mountain. They keep coming, so you have to select the place which is not in the path of avalanche, and you should study all these things, which is very important. These are the crevices. Some crevices we go down and then climb up. Some crevices, we find a natural bridge, we cross them, and that's how we reached Camp 2, which is at the height of 6,400 meters. Till the Camp 2 chopper can come. Above that, there is no help which you can get. Then we decided to go to Camp 3 to expose ourselves. You can see way behind Camp 2, which we left at the base of that mountain. That is the steep slope which we are climbing. After exposing ourselves at Camp 3, we came back to Camp 2, and then suddenly in the night the weather became very bad. Myself, my brother, we were just sleeping in the tent, and we were visualizing our tent as if it is going to fly away. We were just praying that weather to become good, it happened, and then after coming back to the base camp, we realized why weather went back. You must be remembering that time we faced the Fani, the cyclone, and because of that, it was affecting not only the Bay of Bengal, but it was affecting the base camp of Mount Everest also. We were waiting for our attempt to go to the summit camp. You could see it was raining, it was snowing every day, and there is a window in which we need to attempt. At any given time, this is the picture you see of Mount Everest. That is actually not a clouds, but they are snowflakes, because all the time, at any given time, the wind blowing at the top of Mount Everest is at the speed of 150 to 200 kilometers per hour. But only in the month of May, for 2 to 3 times, it happens that the wind speed comes down to 10 to 20 kilometers per hour, because the western winds are opposed by the winds coming from Bay of Bengal, from the eastern winds, and because of this effect, you get that an opportunity. We were waiting at the base camp for the weather forecast. In 2019, it happened that usually you get 2 to 3 windows, but that year it happened that we got only one window as per the weather forecast, and that was predicted to be on 22nd of May. Of course, all the mountaineers, even like amateur like me, we wanted to grab that best possible scenario, and that's why, as other mountains, we all decided to attempt on 22nd. Accordingly, on 18th, we left base camp early in the morning, because as I told you, we have to cross Khumbu Glacier before it becomes sunrise. We reached Camp 2. We stayed there for one day. After that, we shifted ourselves to Camp 3. Camp 3 is on the slope. You can see in this picture the slope, and the ice is so hard. The temperature, wind is blowing with the speed of 20 to 30 kilometers per hour. It is so cold, the wind makes the temperature comes down, even though it looks bright, sunny. So you need to protect yourself properly. You need to keep yourself attached to the rope properly. This is the picture which I had taken from above. You can see Camp 2 way below in the valley, and the tents are pitched on a tableland created on the slope. So you have to be very careful while coming out of the tent. Next day, we decided to go to shift ourselves to Camp 4. Now from here onward, the journey is, you start from Camp 3, you reach by afternoon to Camp 4, rest yourself, prepare yourself, and immediately in the evening, start your journey for a summit camp. So there is no resting or something like that ahead of Camp 3. And you have to reach on a summit, and by before 12 in the noon next day, because after 12, the chances of weather going bad increases very much, and then come back same day till at least Camp 2. That is how the plan is. So we started from Camp 3, that is myself and my brother, crossing the Geneva Spur, and we reached at Camp 4, that is 8,000 meter above which it is called as a death zone. We took a rest of 2-3 hours. In the meantime, we melted some ice, we filled up that hot water in the thermos. Now let me tell you, the climb above the 8,000 is totally different as compared to the climb below 8,000 meters. The difference is you have to wear so many, attires which covers yourself from top to bottom. It reduces your, whatever fluid comes out of your body, whether it's a tear, whether it's a nasal secretion, whatever, it immediately turns into the snow and ice. Why? Because the temperature is always below minus 30 degrees centigrade. You are carrying a hot water in a thermos. Believe me, whenever you open a thermos to drink water, while recapping it, you have to be very sure that there is no single drop in the thread. If you recap it like that only, the next time you will not be able to open the cap, because that single drop gets converted into ice, and that thermos can become useless for you. So you have to be very careful. Then, as I told you, there are ultraviolet rays which can give you skin burns or snow blindness. And then, as you are wearing so many things with the oxygen gloves and goggles and oxygen mask and all these things, your vision get restricted. And especially when you want to attach yourself to the rope, which appears very easy in this attire, in that attire it becomes very difficult, because you have to see where the rope is, you have to fill it, you have to attach your safety carabiner to it. So you need to be more attentive, which is definitely decreases because of low oxygen in the air at that altitude. And then, of course, terrain keeps on changing. Sometimes you're walking on a snow, sometimes you're walking on a hard ice, sometimes you're walking on a black rock, but you cannot change shoes for a different terrain. You have to walk with the same shoes with the attached crampons to it. When we were getting ready for a final summit, I told my brother, look, from here onward, you go with your own speed, I'll go with my own speed, because we never want to compromise anyone's summit attempt. He's younger to me, he's faster than me, and ahead of Camp 4, we had decided that we will go with our own. And when we were getting ready, I heard one of the Sherpas saying that his goggle is broken. There were two options to me, that either ignore it. He also knows, and we all, being a mountaineer, we always carry two goggles, one spare goggle and one goggle which we use. I could have very well ignored it, but that my conscience didn't allow me that. I thought that what are the chances that I may require my additional extra goggle? There are chances there I may not need it, but this chap who has come till Camp 4, doesn't have a goggle. That means for him the mission is finished. That means he has to go back. He cannot attempt climbing. So without giving a second thought, I just offered him my another goggle, and I got myself ready, and then we started climbing towards summit. What remains ahead of the Camp 4 is 800 meters. You have to go to balcony from there, south summit, and that's how we started in the evening. You can see all the climbers with a headlight. Throughout the night we were going as per our schedule. We reached the balcony. At one of the place, what happened, like while changing the rope, I was not confident with that whether my carabiner has attached to the rope. So to see to it that and to confirm it, I just shifted my goggle on my forehead and confirmed it. It was night time, and I didn't realize that I forgot to take that goggle back on my eyes. Believe me, at that altitude, whatever goes away from your body gets frozen. Even if a chocolate, if you are keeping it on an external pocket, next time you will not be able to, break it and eat it, because it becomes rock solid hard in that temperature. So you need to keep everything near your body so that it remains with your body temperature, it remains warm. And same thing happened after few steps. I realized that I forgot my goggle. When I reshifted it back on my eyes, I realized there is a thin layer of ice crust which got formed on that goggle. So that goggle became useless for me. I just thought came to my mind, I don't have my spare goggle. Though it was night time, I thought no problem. Night time, there are not, the intensity of ultraviolet rays is not that much as it compared to daytime. So I kept climbing, just praying to the God that fine, no problem. This is a hilary step. It was early morning. I saw my brother younger, faster, he went ahead, and at Hillary step, which was 140 meters before the summit, I met him, I crossed him. He has successfully climbed and he was coming back. I was so happy. I congratulated him and I told him, look, you go back to Camp 2, I'll join you, I'll summit, 140 meters is remaining, and I'll join you back. He said yes. He also wished me good luck. I just asked him, do you have give me your spare goggle? And he said, Dada, I am also using a spare goggle because my goggle got broken on the way. So that last half of hope of getting that spare goggle was also lost. I just prayed to the God. I went, I congratulated him. I went ahead. I reached, of course, as you can see in this picture, my brother who reached early morning on the summit at 5:30. And this is video from the top of the Mount Everest. You can see all the mountains which were towering when we were on a base camp. Now we can see them below our eyesight level. You can see the entire Himalayan range from the top. You can see how everything like our tears and our nose secretion, that is my brother on the top, they get converted into eyes. We were so happy that I congratulated him, and then at 8:30 I reached on the summit. This is the picture I took from the summit. You can see the shadow of Everest and Mount Nuptse. They are not on a land. That shadow is on the layer of clouds. And those mountains which are taller than the cloud heights, you can see only their peaks, which are about. The feeling on the reaching on the top mountain is very difficult for me to express in the word. It is emotional. It is a mix of feelings. It is like sense of achievement. At the same time, you feel that emptiness once you achieve your target, and you feel like you are near God. You feel that yes, you are in heaven. And I became speechless. After 5 minutes, I realized that, we cannot stay here for a longer time. I requested my Sherpa to click few pictures. We clicked the pictures on the top of Mount Everest. That is my brother and that is myself with the Indian flag. We were so proud that we could take this flag right from the sea level on the top of Mount Everest. And after spending almost 20 minutes, I told my Sherpa, come on, let's go back. We have to go back and we have to catch Mahendra, who is waiting for us. I must have crossed hardly 100 meters. On a descent, after 100 meters, suddenly I started feeling pain in my eyes, and what I could see was only white thing. Initially, I thought that I'm going to hit a cornices. Cornices is like a snow ice wall. I thought that I'm going to hit that. But then I realized, no, it's not a cornices. Actually, what I'm seeing is only white thing. And being a doctor, it was not difficult for me to guess what was happening with me. I developed snow blindness. The fear of that throughout the night in my mind came true. The moment I realized that, I just sat there thinking that that is the end of the life. I told my Sherpa, you go ahead, I am happy. At that altitude, maybe it is a low oxygen effect, maybe it is a delirium, maybe it is an illusion, whatever. But believe me, friends, at that moment, you don't even feel the fear of death or feel the pain. I just sat there, I told my Sherpa, listening to me, my Sherpa became panic. He tried to contact base camp on a walkie-talkie. Obviously, it was not working. I could hear him trying to contact base camp in a panic situation, but I was cool. I just sat there. After a few seconds, the thought of my son came to my mind. He himself is a cyclist. He is a Guinness World Record. Before entering his name into an electoral list of our country at the age of 17, he entered himself into a Guinness World by crossing Kashmir to Kanyakumari in 8 days, 7 hours, and he could set the record. What is important here is when he was born, within 10 hours, he developed respiratory distress. He became tachypneic, and we have to put him on a ventilator. I was there for 3 days along with him in an ICU, and he was fighting on a ventilator. And the thought came to my mind, if my son at that tiny age could fight all the odds, I have no reason to sit here, because sitting here means by next day morning I'll be converted into a log woods type of thing, and definitely death was inevitable. I suddenly got up. I said, nothing doing. I don't want my family members, I don't want my friends to say that Hitendra never tried. I got up and decided to try. What will happen? If I try to descend blindly, I may fall and I may die, but definitely sitting here and giving up, death is inevitable. But if I try, there are always some hopes of, getting back lively. I got up and I told my Sherpa, let's go down. Listening to this sentence, after seeing this change in me, he also got elated and he immediately said, yes sir, we will go down. He clipped my safety anchor to his safety anchor and we started descending. I started following his instructions. It was not easy journey. As I could not see, I was descending, facing my back towards the valley. I was tumbling. I was falling down, and that first step was difficult. I was keeping my heel first, and then slowly descending my toes to know what exactly is the descent or gradient of my feet. That first step was definitely difficult for me. I tumbled, I fall down, but later on I could realize that I could at least make some inputs from the wind blowing, from the sound of wind, from the noise of my Sherpa, that how far he is ahead of me, how below me, or from the wind sound I could start gazing that which side is the cornices, which side is the... God has given us brain, it is beautiful organ, we hardly use it. But when you are in such situation, so many inputs can give you so much of information. So what empowered me, what helped me to take that first step and later on cover that? Of course, the mental strength given by my teacher, Bhishmaraj Bam sir. Then one thing I would like to tell here, that whenever we plan something, we always try to read all the success stories. But on the contrary, my advice will be read the failure stories as well. Myself, my brother, we used to read this novel by John Karaokar. It depends on a real expedition in 1996. You must have seen the Mount Everest movie also. What happened in that expedition? Professional like Scott Fisher, Yasuko Namba, Rob Hall, they were professional. The organizer of the expedition, they died, but in the same expedition, big weather, amateur like me, he survived. And myself, my brother, we used to talk with each other that what made this amateur person to survive that odd, and we could reach to the conclusion that that is the only thing what he was having difference from the others were not to give up, never to give up, keep trying till the last. And that's what we followed. Maybe during on the base camp, being a doctor, we were serving all the Sherpas free of cost, distributing medicine and all this. That goodwill we must have created. Maybe my Sherpa, in such situation, what happens if you land up in such situation on a mountain? Sherpa is the first person to abandon you because his life is also in danger. But that didn't happen with me. Maybe my Sherpa must have seen my gesture of offering my goggle to his colleague. So keep doing good work. Maybe our entire efforts of creating COLS awareness, and then of course family, friends, wishes from your friends, they come to you. All those things, you keep doing the good things, and it comes to you in a form of positive vibes, and it helps you in one or the other way when you land up in such situation. I reached at the Camp 2 same evening. When I reached at Camp 4, it took me 10 hours from summit to Camp 4, which takes otherwise 2 hours. So there was a lot of exposures. I was stumbling, I was falling, I was touching, though my gloves were not out. I was touching to the ice so many times. But when I reached at Camp 4 at 8 o'clock, I saw my brother standing there waiting for me. I just hugged him and I told him, why you are here? You are not supposed to stay here. And you know what he told me? Dada, how I can go without you? He was waiting there for me. I hugged. We slept at that night on the Camp 4. Next day we went to Camp 2. From there we got evacuated. When I reached at the base camp, I saw my fingers turning blue. Being a doctor, it was not difficult for me to realize. I clicked the picture. I immediately sent those pictures to one of my doctor friend who is also a mountaineer and a plastic surgeon, and told him, look, we are in a problem. He immediately swung into action. By that time, my wife was there in Kathmandu with my friends to receive me. I was requiring to get injection, prostaglandin, which was not available in Kathmandu. See how friends comes into a help. He immediately, called up my friend in Delhi. He arranged that injection there. We caught an immediate flight. We came to Delhi. I received my same day. I received the injection of prostaglandin. But after few days, my fingers started turning black. There was no sensation to those fingers. It was difficult for me to, when you are surrounded by the people, you don't realize what exactly the problem you are facing. But when you are alone, which used to happen with me when every day 2 hours I used to spend in the morning and evening in this chamber, I used to think that what am I going to do with these sensationless black fingers? 2 days I was into a depression. But again, third day, I said, no, Hitendra, you cannot do like this. You are the person who has descended blindly from the Everest. You cannot just succumb to this black, sensationless fingers. Next day, I bought peanuts with me. There, I could try lifting up. I was knowing that I am not able to lift up. I never wanted anyone to watch and laugh at me. So that was the place where I was secured in the oxygen chamber. No one is watching me and judging me. I was trying for 2 days. I was trying to lift the peanut and keep it on my finger. Every time it used to flee. We use our finger so many times without knowing that how important they are. What all things they do. So many sensations they send to the brain, and then you know what thing you are going to pick up, whether it is hot, whether it is cold, how much pressure you need to lift it. All these things happens automatically. You don't realize the importance of that, but when you lose it, that time you realize the importance of that. And it took me 2 days of practice, and at the end of that I could at least lift one peanut and keep it on my left hand. I repeated it with the other hand, and that boosted my confidence. Next day I bought smaller things like button, and after 2-3 days of trying like that, I went back home and I asked my daughter, give me a syringe and a needle. She got a syringe and a needle. I could lift up a syringe, I could pull the plunger back, I could apply a needle after trying, and then I declared to my wife, nothing doing, I am going to go back to the hospital and work like an anesthesiologist. And accordingly, I came back, I submitted on 22nd of May, I came back to Nashik on 26th of May, and on 10th of June, I went back to the hospital with the same black fingers. I hided my fingers. While going to the hospital, I was wearing a skin color gloves to hide them, not because I was ashamed of my black fingers. In fact, they were like my medals. But I was covering them because I was confident about myself, but I don't know whether my colleagues, my hospital owners, my patients, their relatives, whether they will have that confidence in me or not. I never wanted that they lose that confidence in me. I went, covered my finger, I went to operation theatre, I asked my colleague to give me a sterile gloves, I wore them, I changed to the things. Before going to the hospital, I planned everything that what I am expected to do and whether I'll be able to do it or not. One thing I could not plan, it's like a joke, but after going there, I realized that I had never thought that I may have to tie the string of my pajamas, and that was the thing which was slipped out of my mind, but fortunately I could pick up another colleague's pajama which was with the elastic, and I could overcome that. But then you have to keep such presence of mind. I went to the theater, I could perform that day whatever expected from an anesthesiologist to perform, and I was happy that yes, I'm back in my professional life. For next 3 months, it takes 3 months for a frostbite injury to formulate completely before you can intervene for a medical line of treatment. As I told you, that friends always comes to help you. My own friend, plastic surgeon, he said that all of them, they advise me, most of the plastic surgeons in India and abroad, they advise me amputation and shortening of the finger. But my friend, who is also plastic surgeon, he said, nothing doing, Hitendra, I'm going to give you maximum possible length. He did a wonderful plastic surgery on my finger. He removed the skin from this finger, this palm. He fitted them transplanted them on these 2 fingers, because these are the 2 fingers along with the thumb with which we perform 90% of the work. Rest, other fingers, other hand is just a supporting. And then he could give me this thing. He operated for 10 hours on me. Everyone was positively thinking, and that gave me a good finger. So what made this difference? That one step, that first step which ignited by my son, that first step which I took on the top of Mount Everest in spite of being a blind. जैसे आपने सुन लिया होगा शाहरुख खान को भी कहते हुए, अगर आप कोशिश करने की ठान लेते हो तो पूरी कायनात जुट जाती है तुम्हें मदद करने में. And same thing happened. Everyone sent me energy. These are the certificates, and with this, what I could achieve was I could set a certain records. There are only 3 people on this earth who has completed race across America and climbed Mount Everest. One of them is Wolf Fishing from Austria, and other two are Mahajan brothers. There are only 2 people on this earth who could descend blindly Mount Everest from the top of Mount Everest. One of them is Brent Dickinson from USA. Another one is standing in front of you. So in the life, dear friends, we always see so many impossible things, but with your dedication, you can transform that impossible into I am possible. Thank you very much. I hope I could finish in time. Yeah. I know, as I mentioned in the beginning, see, it's not about me or my achievements. As I told you, I was as ordinary as all of you think you are. And when I can do it, at that stage of my life, every one of you who is sitting here can set that dream and can try and achieve. As Abdul Kalam sir has said, visualization is very important. That plays important role. I am also as lazy as any other person. I also, next day morning when I am supposed to go for a training, I also don't feel like coming out of the cozy bed and hitting the road when it's raining outside. But then if you have a target, you always find out a time. You always find out an energy to overcome that inertia. It can be anything. It can be a simple exam. As I am addressing a student, let me tell you, you are supposed to face an exam, your final exam of whatever class you are into. Many of us feel that, how I am going to prepare for that. My advice will be, stay calm. Just go through what exactly you are supposed to do. Tabulate it, formulate it properly, and When you see an entire book, anyone is going to get scared of it, But when you split your target into small, small chapters and then try to eat it one by one. When we run for 42 kilometers, we never think about 42 kilometers. We always think of, leave apart a kilometer, we think of next electricity pole. Let me reach there. Then I see a next electricity pole. Let me reach there. Accordingly, you can see, let me finish one chapter. Forget about entire book. Let me finish that one chapter. Let me get control over it. Once you done that, next chapter. Once you do that, next chapter. Like this, if you attend, and then another important thing what Bam sir has taught me. Once when I was about to go for a marathon, Mumbai marathon, full marathon, I was not having enough time to train myself. He told me, who told you that you need to run marathon for running a marathon? You are already having a basic fitness. So sitting at one place, you can visualize yourself running a marathon. You imagine yourself in the marathon. You imagine yourself at the start of the start line along with all other runners. Then you imagine yourself running that marathon, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 20 kilometers, and then imagine yourself reaching to the finish line. Imagine yourself, you are crossing the finish line and everyone is clapping for you. And this visualization automatically prepares your body for upcoming target. And these principles can be applied for everything in the life, whether it is a marathon, whether it is a school exam or whatever it is. Setting target, dedicatedly trying for it, prioritizing. Prioritize yourself. On this day, live your life on a particular day. Don't get scared about what will happen future, and don't get scared about what happened in the past. Past mistakes are gone. You just cannot do anything about it. You need to overcome, learn from it, and prepare yourself for tomorrow. Try to be at least 80% of yourself into a present situation. Then only you can help yourself. If you get scared about the exam, your actions in the present tense will get hampered. So focus on today. I need to study today. I need to finish up my chapter, whatever I had targeted for today. Forget about what will happen tomorrow. And never give up. Not going to the exam hall, failure is 100%. Attempting, it may happen that you may get a questions which you had already read about. There are always chances of coming out of it. There is always chances of winning. There is always chances of securing good thing. But attempting is 100% loss. If any one of you having any questions, if you want to ask me, just feel free. On the Mount Everest, the ropes, they are tied by a professional Sherpa teams. They go ahead, they clear the route, they tie the rope so that amateur people like me utilizes them. And it is always like every year a team takes that responsibility. And nowadays Nepal governments, they hire a certain agency, they give it to them. So all those experts, they do the rope fixing. And other teams, they pay fee to the Nepal government for utilizing those fixed ropes, so that everyone don't have to waste that energy of again fixing the rope and going ahead. And then we utilize that fixed ropes. It is in the process. It is in the process. Definitely, definitely. I just want to pass on this legacy to the next generations. What is the duration? Diet. Very important. We are, I'm very proud to tell you that we are here in India, and our day-to-day diet is such a balanced diet. Diet, I'm talking about what our mother cooks for us, what we get at home, and that is such a balanced diet. It gives us a combination of, carbohydrate, protein, and fat, this thing. So in day-to-day life, you just need to focus on that. And as sir has correctly mentioned, when you are targeting such things, you need an additional support. So you can rely on protein-rich things, because you need more proteins. Non-vegetarian, even for vegetarian people, there are a lot of things which contains a lot of maximum protein content on this earth is in the so many vegetables we have. And when we go in actual event, that time we eat high energy bars, high energy chocolates, high energy drink which we carry with us, so they are easy to carry, and then we keep on gulping that when actually we are on an event. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Myself, Yash.
Yes,
I have a question. How did you overcome the blindness which you got in the mountain?
Overcome the
Blindness, no
blindness, yes. So see, I was being a doctor, I was knowing that snow blindness is there. It is a temporary thing. It will go after 24 to 48 hours. But then that moment, as you mentioned, I was totally blind. For overcoming that, mental strength come into the picture. Your thought process. Since, as I said, initially I gave up. I just sat there. But then you need one or the other stimulant in your life, which was my son in my life. So it can be anything in your life. So when you think about positivity, when you give importance to positive thought, your body acts accordingly. If you think about negative thoughts, they overpower and your body acts accordingly. So think positively that yes, I have to do it, and at least, as I said, see, sitting there, the death was inevitable. Nothing could have helped me. So what matters here is, first step is you help yourself. You take that first step of helping yourself, which I took on the top of Mount Everest. Yes, it is not assured that you will be successful, but there are chances of being successful if you take that first step. If you don't take that first step, the loss is inevitable. That is bound to happen, bound to come. That we know. Everyone knows. So, overcoming your thought process, giving importance to positivity, and always trying, never giving up, is something which I can tell you, and which I applied, and you all can do it in your life. Let the problem be anything, small problem, big problem, whatever it is.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for one of the most inspiring speeches we have ever heard. All of you will agree with me that it is truly, truly inspiring. Now, I have one question. You showed us your brother's support to you. What about the rest of your family? They say they are equally important in supporting you. And how did your family react to your adventures, as we call it?
That's why I said, sir, that the most powerful person is not me or my brother. It is my mother, from where we got that energy. To answer your question, I need to go back to my childhood days. The way my parents, did our upbringing, my upbringing.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you just climbed Mount Everest. What's the next plan, sir? What's the next plan after Mount Everest?
What is the
next plan after Mount Everest?
Next plan, I'll come to that.
Thank you, sir.
So just to answer sir's question, that when I was a kid, my mother never stopped me for doing anything. She instilled that thought in me that whatever thought comes to your mind, no word should never come first in your thought process. First thing should be, yes, let me attempt, let me see. She is the one who taught me to take up the challenges. Of course, as I said, we need to understand before taking the challenges, there are certain principles to it. It's not like throwing away your life. It is about giving importance to the safety, and that is the reason we train ourselves. We go for the best of the equipments, we go for the best of the things, we keep the plan, everything ready. In spite of that, there are always chances that you may land up in a problematic situation, and then how you behave in that situation depends on what is your upbringing, what is your support, what is your mental strength, and how you had brought up yourself, what mental thoughts you instilled in you. That matters during that situation, and I'll be always thankful to my mother, my father, and what I'm trying to upbring my kids also in the same way. Not interfering much, not saying no every time, allowing them to explore at least whatever they want to do, and at the same time trying to tell them that this is the danger, this is good thing, here you may need to be responsible, and what exactly is your responsibility. So I think that is the thing which helped me that. And coming to your question, what next? So maybe now as I said, I am a professional, so maybe in my life now there won't be any missions like this, the tough missions, because now it is my duty as a father to support my son also, which he is visualizing his dream, and whatever in my capacity, if he is coming up with some missions, priority will be to him, because it's not like we both can do it. There are a lot of things, time, money, expenses, everything. So in future, as I said, my son set up a record of Guinness record of covering Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Then he set a Guinness World Record on covering the distance of Leh to Manali in 24 hours on a bicycle. Now he's targeting race across America. So whatever is possible as a father now, henceforth I'll try to support him.
Sir, I'm Suryan, sir. Jai Maharashtra.
Jai Maharashtra.
Sir, have you planned on climbing Kailash Parbat?
Kailash Parbat is something which is not, it is sacred and religious sentiments are there. It is not something which is allowed to climb. People go there to, Pradakshina, what we call, just to move around it, and it's a holy place. And anyone, even old people, they go there. There are a lot of established route, and there are a lot of support system which is already existing there. And yes, one day I wish to go there.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Myself, Pradiksha, and first of all, thank you so much for sharing your inspirational stories. It was really good. And my question is, if you were not a doctor, if you were in any other profession, would you really still have that physical and mental fitness going on? Would you have that motive still?
Definitely yes. I'll just give you one example. You must have visited, a small, we call it jatra, means exhibition sort of things. And you must have seen one pandal where you purchase a ticket, you go inside, and you will see a girl without both the hands, combing her hair with the leg, then, drawing something. They are not doctors. They are not learned. In fact, they are not even literate. So, mental strength has got no relation with your education or literacy. It is your attitude towards life. And when I was thinking about tip of my fingers not working, I thought that there are people on this earth who doesn't have both the hands, leave apart fingers. I am so fortunate that I am having all the hands and fingers, There are people on this earth who doesn't have not only both the hands, not even both the legs. And still you must have seen his video on YouTube, such a nice motivating speaker, and he moves on the stage and he delivers. If people can perform everything without two hands, two legs, we should be fortunate and we should be thankful to the God that giving us so many things. So never get depressed with that what you don't have. And from that thought process comes the mental strength. You don't have to be a doctor. Yes, being a doctor, I could see little further ahead as compared to non-medical person. That is the only benefit. But then thought process, you must have heard and seen so many doctors committing suicide. I of course feels bad about it. But then they are doctors, still they are doing that. So it is not about your education, it is about your thought process. And we should be very thankful that in our culture, we have a yoga which tells us all these things which you should take it from it.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Yeah.
good morning, sir. I'm a student from AFO school. So, first of all, I want to ask you, how is it to be a pilot? Is it fun and adventure as it sounds, or is it actually scary or stuff? And the second question is, have you ever regretted taking the first step, sir? Ever? For example, you took the first step of climbing this, sir. Then your hand was injured, I guess. You lost your fingers. Have you ever regretted taking the first step, sir?
First of all, there is nothing like a scary thing, it is a fear which we generate in our mind. It is a type of a wall. Anything which you target, anything which you feel like doing, there is always a fear attached to it. And believe me, success is always across that wall of fear. And you need to break that fear and go ahead. It is scary to fly a glider which doesn't have a motor, totally depending on a wind. It is a scary to go on a mountain. It is a scary to, do many things. But then, crossing that fear, which is self-created most of the time in our mind, is very important. But beyond that, what lies is all fun and pleasure. So overcome that step. Unless and until you cross that fear which is there in your mind, you will not be able to enjoy that, what it feels to be on a wind in a sky, on a machine which doesn't have a machine at all, just with the two wings. Definitely it was, but then when I targeted myself for getting that fun, you have to come out of your comfort zone if you really want that, fun, that experience those things in your life. And your second question was about regression. Yeah. As I told you that I was not ashamed of my fingers black going to the hospital. Today also, if you ask me what are my medals, I'll say these are my medals. So there is no question of regretting at all. It is a very small price which I have to pay for achieving my dream. Otherwise, I would have not been able to die in peace if I would have not attempted. Leave apart whether I will be successful or not. But as I told you in 2018, I shared it with my family that, look, I need to at least attempt once on Mount Everest. So there is no question of regression at all. Whatever you feel like, full-heartedly prepare yourself and go ahead. What your heart tells you, your brain will follow. And I assure you that for doing such things, you will never have to regret in your life.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, very inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing these thoughts. Your whole speech was about visualization and how to get ahead and never give up. So, what would be a habit that we can form every day for, getting into that zone of visualization? If you can recommend something.
It's very simple, man. Previous night while sleeping, you just, give it a thought process. What I did today and what I'm supposed to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, suppose I have to get up, I have to go to the school, I have to attend classes. My teacher is going to teach me certain things which I know obviously. And then after school, I'm going to go to the playground, I'm going to enjoy, I'm going to play. Evening, I'm going to, again revise my studies and attend whatever tuition classes and go back to the sleep. So you just need to, visualize those things while sleeping, tomorrow morning when you get up, and then everything follows automatically. So it is like playing a chess. Have you ever seen a chess player? His moves appear so smooth because what move he is playing that moment, he is not thinking about that. He has already thought about that. He is thinking 2 steps ahead. So when you think 2 steps ahead, automatically the step which you are going to take now, it becomes easy. You don't stumble. But if you are not in synchrony, while walking also there are chances that you will fall on a simple step. So visualize this thing. It's not at all difficult. And it's not like you have to apply visualization only for a marathon or climbing Mount Everest. No, day-to-day life. I know I have to get up in the morning. I have to come here in a beautiful hall full of students and I have to interact with them. I visualize that before coming here. I visualize myself on the stage. I visualize myself interacting with you all. And it becomes smooth and easy. So you can apply this thing to anything in your life, anything. And I assure you that when you actually put yourself into that situation, it becomes easy.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, sir. I'm Gopi Krishna of Kikani Metric. So I want to know about your present mental state, about the sufferings when you were in the top, sir.
Present mental state.
About the sufferings when you are top, about your fingers, about your snow blindness, everything.
I feel proud about it.
So have you ever regretted that we should not have done that?
Never, never, never at all. Never at all. As I said, there is no regression. In fact, I would have regretted more if I would have not attempted what my heart wished to be, what my brain thinks about it. So that regression would have been more.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. So I'm Neha. I want to know how are you able to balance your work life and these missions and challenges?
In one word, to give answer to your question, it is about prioritization. It is about prioritization. At this stage of life, my profession is equally important to me. At the same time, I wish to achieve something. If you see in 24 hours, we'll end up doing so many things which are not required, which are not in this. When before starting such targeting, taking such targets, you know what I used to do? I used to go to the hospital, come back to the room in my house, then watch some serials, watch some movies on a Netflix, do this thing, and at the end I realize, what am I doing? Isn't it? And that happens because I don't have target. If I set a target in the life, then automatically prioritization changes. Then the priority comes that, I have to train myself, I have to go to the hospital, I have to go to that. So it is not like you create an extra time for that. It is like you just reassembled yourself in the given time. At the same time, let me tell you, dear friends, whatever extracurricular you do, it always helps you in your curriculum, it always helps you in your professional life. Whatever good anesthesia I am doing, I can tell you that all the principles which I learn from my extracurricular activities, I apply them in profession. I may not be, big in quantity of my profession, but definitely the quality, the way I want to work, the way I want to deliver to my patient, I could take the fast decisions in the OT which is required for me to save the life, but all those skills come from my, climbing a mountain, wandering with the nature, all those things, they help you. So profession always, helps you, passion always helps you in a profession, and balancing time when you prioritize yourself, it is not at all difficult.
Good morning, sir. I'm Hemavarna from Venkalakshmi. And my question is, what's your biggest fear for now?
Biggest fear?
Yeah.
Very difficult to answer this question.
Yeah, sir.
See, fear, up to a certain extent, there has to be a fear. Fear equally has got its own role. Whatever you do, like if I have to, today if you ask me, I have a fear of catching my flight on time. I have a fear that it should not get delayed. So fear plays important role in your life because you have to take it in that way. So what will happen? I'll keep myself prepared. I'll keep, be on time. I'll take it in that way. The only thing is, you should never succumb to the fear. You should never let that fear to overcome your mind or thought process. You should use it for preparing yourself and take it in a positive way. So fear is there, fear is going to remain. It is the thing which is given to us physiologically by a God, and we should take it in that point of view that it should not harm us, it should help us, it should help us to prepare. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, audience. We'll be stopping the questions now. Like sir said, there's a fear of catching the flight, not only for him, for the second speaker as well. So with that, we'll wind up the first session for the day.
Thank you.
One second, sir, please be on the stage. What a way to kickstart our event, right? Such an inspirational story. And it was like, watching a movie for 1.5 hours. So, on behalf of Kikani institutions, it's our privilege to have you amidst us today, sir. I now request our trustee, Shri Prakash Asher, sir, to kindly come on to the stage and present a shawl and a memento to our guest speaker as a token of our love and appreciation. Just help me. Just Thank you so much, sir.